Hello everyone, and welcome back to Arena. I'm Miss, and with me is Bas. And this is the bright side of that in the red, and they are facing a rival in blue. And both teams have brought their flagship bargest, supported by two Nighthawks, but the rest of their setups are different. So can you tell me a bit more about that, Bas?
Yeah, so Bright Side of Death have opted to sort of weaken their low end a little bit in exchange for bringing this extra Loki, whereas Arrival seem to have warped in at range, but they've only got the one Loki, but instead they've got two Jackdaws and they've got two Logi frigates in the form of these two Scalpels as well. So sort of subtle differences between these two comps. And also, I want to comment on Arrival warping in at range because it means maybe they want to try and burn away. And like you mentioned yesterday, the sort of Doppler effect of missiles, the team that's burning away seems to have an advantage, but this Nighthawk of Bacardi Desire is burning straight in fact. Hands
So
going the other direction, so a little bit of confusion here.
Yeah. Already seen the Bantam of Bright Side of Death taking some shield damage. Also, the Nighthawk of Gracia is taking shield damage. Meantime, the Arrival Loki is taking a massive amount of damage. He might be the first kill in this match.
Yeah, and I mean, the two Lokis versus one, this is really interesting to see how this comes out. And if they can kill this Loki, that means Bright Side of Death are going to have total range control over the match with the two Lokis compared to the now zero as that Loki does finally drop, but in exchange for the Nighthawk. So this is going to be an absolute bloodbath because all these ham Nighthawks and Lokis are just parked up on top of each other, blasting whatever they choose to. And now the Nighthawk of Bacardi Desire is chosen as the next one. And I'm not sure how effective the range control is going to be when everything is just happy to just park up on top of everything else.
Yeah, this has turned into a really bloody brawl as Bacardi Desire in the Nighthawk is also taking a heavy amount of damage, and they're also losing a Jackdaw right now. In the meantime, the blue bright screen of death actually seems to stabilize a bit. They have a couple of ships taking damage, but nothing like critical is threatened yet.
Yeah, and that Jackdaw's holding him. Bacardi Desire is going to go down, but the Bantam, is still holding. Clearly wiping off that Jackdaw has taken some of the pressure off them. They're sort of splitting damage here. Svipple taking some, Loki taking some. But now they're clearing off this Harpy.
Yeah, so Arrival that chose to bring a Stormbringer. That is the Edencom Cruiser. Normally we see the frigates as cheap tackle ships, but the Cruiser, that's an interesting choice. So what do you think about that?
I'll be honest with you, I don't really like the Cruiser. I think the Skybreaker does, if you want to fit the gun, the Skybreaker does basically the same thing. I guess they're cheap. They're good as sort of bulky tackle ships for shield comps. But yeah, I'm not just a general fan. But back to the match. This Bantam of Vitalik is going to go down. They're going to clear off these reps. But we're now, 2-3 minutes into this match? They traded for the Harpy as well. God, this is a bloodbath. The Svipple's going to go down and Valvin too. They still haven't quite
finished. The Bantam is still alive. It's a Tech 1 frigate.
And just to remind people of the stakes here, the loser of this match is out. And these are two reasonably competent teams. I mean, I think Bright Side of Death came top 6 in the Alliance Open last year. And
look at Hansi vibes in the Nighthawk. That's the last Nighthawk.
It's a bloodbath
Nighthawk for Svipple.
And the Bantam is still alive. Vitalik Roar is holding in about 10% shield here.
You have to remember that Howling Wind is in a flagship bargest, and his team is going down, so he has little chances of survival.
They do fix off that Bantam finally, and now the Loki of Midas is going to go down as well. But yeah, these teams are just absolutely piling in on top.
Yeah, but the Bantam is just 1 point. They're taking so much time to kill a 1-point ship while they've lost so much. And killing the Bantams might remove the reps, but the way that the bright screen of death have made the team, they have put so much focus on DPS instead, and they still have so many DPS.
The top end that's left, it's just this Barghest against a Barghest, a Nighthawk, and a Loki. And of course, both these teams having flagged Barghests, if one of these dies, the other team can just look at the loot. Oh, any upgrades in there? I'll take that for myself. Thank you very much. Upgrade my own flagship. And they are now shooting Howling Wind, so whatever any modules he's got on this ship are now effectively forfeit. Bright Side of Death will be taking those and saying thank you very much.
Now we have to keep in mind that this Halloween event means that 90% of the modules drop. So this is a lot more than the usual 50%. This can be a really good paycheck for the Bright Side of Death team. Unless the Arrival team managed to ninja loot it first. They still have a chance to do that and deny the loot.
Well, the Scalpel was very close, but he quickly got wiped off the field, probably to prevent that. But the Stormbringer is still lingering. So maybe if he's quick on the button, he might be able to get in there. But maybe they're going to. No, they don't seem to be focusing the Stormbringer. And the Skybreaker's ejected a canister, so he's going to look to grab this loot as quickly as he can.
Yeah, at this point, I don't see any chances of the rival team, and they're saying good fight in local. They know it's over, and at this point, there's nothing left they can do. And I also like to apologize to the bright side of the team for butchering your name so many times. It confuses me a bit that your abbreviation is BSOD, like blue screen of death. But that's probably the intention, right?
But the Barghest goes down, but the Stormbringer is still right on top of the wreck, so maybe he'll be able to grab it. Obviously, we don't really have any way to confirm who gets the loot other than the players themselves telling us. So yeah, we'll have to wait and see who got the remains of that. Obviously, Arrival won't be winning this match, but it's possible. Well, I mean, even if the Stormbringer did scoop it, he's still going to die. So maybe he can just knock the loot down to 80% instead of 90%.
Yeah, I guess that's the best chance he can do, and he goes down. So there's nothing left for the remaining two players on the Arrival team. They did arrive, but they're not going to arrive for the next weekend as they're departing from the tournament.
Yeah, and this has got to be really disappointing because this is a team that a bunch of the analysts behind the scenes, I think, were sort of bigging up as very competent. Previously, the Weekend Warriors, I think they finished top 6 in Alliance Open, I think. So they were considered a pretty strong team on the balance of things. Expected to go reasonably far. So losing in the first weekend and finishing, I think it's a 1-2 record for them. It's got to be disappointing.
Yeah, they had high hopes, and they also have a fat wallet. So I believe that Barghest might have been quite shiny. So a nice paycheck for BSOD. Hope you got some good loot.
Yeah, obviously we don't, like I said, we don't know how much loot they got, but I can confirm that there's 2 Estimel's launchers on that Dead Flag Barghest. So whether they dropped or not, I don't know. It remains to be confirmed. But yeah, it looks like a pretty fancy Barghest for sure. And that Jackdaw of the Rosmos Prophet finally goes down and signals the end of a Rivals tournament lifetime. And with that, we'll send it back to the studio.